Hello. Today I'm working on a 2008 Apple Mac Pro. This is a 8-core, 2.8 gigahertz Intel Xeon. This is quite a beast of a computer. It's very heavy. It turns on, but there's no video output. So I'm going to learn how to take one of these apart today, I guess. This lever here, this is the back side of the computer in the front. When I turn it on, it turns on. You can hear the hard drive running as if it's trying to boot up. There's no chime, so I'm not sure what to think about that, but there's no video output. And I can see there's a video card here with 2 DVI outputs. So I'm going to lift this lever, which should release this side panel, and have a look inside here. There's 3 PCIe expansion slots there, and a graphics card here. There's a lot of muck on the motherboard. So I don't know, I'm going to take as much of this apart as I can to try to get in there and clean things out. Actually, it looks like there's no RAM in here. So if I look, when we look down here, these are 2 daughter boards that have memory slots. I'm gonna back up a little bit here. Oh, I see. So that's all locked. When this is open, these are unlocked. So this is the optical drive that is still plugged in. Whoa. So that's an IDE connector. That tells you how old this is. The power jack on there is really stuck in there. It's just kind of wedged. There we go. Oh, awfully dusty. So this is the power supply here. I'm tempted to just throw a different video card in there, but I kind of want to know what's going on here. So this is just a cover. Does it just pop out? Yeah. Oh. So that's covering up the heat sinks. There's quite considerable heat sinks for the CPU. So the CPU or CPUs are going to be below that. And then the RAM, I don't know. I'm going to take out this video card. I think I have to take out this panel that's holding it down. There's going to be a lever holding on the back of it. So it's an ATI video card. ATI 102B36101 from 2005. Let's see if I have anything I can throw in there. So this is your very basic. There's no printing on it. MIC's got some memory module slots that are vacant, so it's got some RAM but not a lot. Well, let's just see if we can get this thing booted. I'm gonna have to turn it around so my cables will reach. Keyboard and mouse, just in case. Yeah, I can hear the hard drive, but there's no signal. Might try VGA. I'm going to try a different slot. So we'll try the next slot over, the next 16X slot. Nada. Okay, So I don't think the issue is with the video card. Okay, I'm gonna remove the hard drive, so it needs to be unlocked. The lever on the back has to be pulled forward so that these are in the unlocked position. And there's a hard drive under this. Ah, there it goes. Ouch. And I'm gonna take the RAM out. So the RAM is housed in these little daughter boards. I can't quite get my fingers in there. I might use my spudgers as a little bit of leverage. Little handles. Oh, yeah. Okay, so there's one memory module in there that's got big heat sinks on it. Dim one, very dusty on the back. And then I think there's another module at the bottom of this one. Quite a lot of dust. Now I want to see what happens when I plug it in. I want to see if the power button flashes any kind of code. Yep. So now there's a white light flashing, which tells me there's a memory problem. Which makes sense because there's no memory in the system. So, what do we have here? Two very dusty, well, this one's very dusty on that side and very clean on that side. And this other one is very clean on this side and very dusty on that side. So, I may need to take some parts into my back room and clean them. Tempted to keep going. So this housing is screwed down onto the motherboard. This one probably is too, yeah. Oh. I need a cart. I might put this on a chair and wheel it back there. Okay, I'm gonna clean things up and I'll be back. Alright, we've blown it out. There was a lot of dust in there. Dust bunnies, like chunks of old dust. It looks so much better. I'm going to put the graphics card back in and one memory module back in and see if it'll boot like that. So, memory. I don't know which of these would be number one. Doesn't really say. So Apple Memory Riser. Well, I'd say they're identical. I don't know if the computer will run on either of these risers, but I'm about to find out. Okay, that feels pretty sturdy. Okay, plug in my USB keyboard. I don't have an Apple keyboard, I have a USB, so I'll just go this way with my standard Logitech and set my video input to DVI. Now that's wishful thinking. We have time. How much RAM is that? 1 gigabyte. PC2 8400. Let's say 8400. 6400. So there's a gigabyte. 2 gigabytes, another 1 gigabyte. So we've got the question mark folder, that's great. These are 1 gigabyte each, and 2 gigabytes each. Now, I don't know if these are going to be compatible with the Mac. PC2 6400F. 6400U, is that unbuffered? 6400U. Well, Google to the rescue. I'm going to try the other memory module. Grounding myself while I do this. Okay, here we go. Nope. So it doesn't like that, either that module or that riser. Might swap them, see if that has any impact. So I'm going to put in what I suspect is the bad one into the slot that the other one was just working. Let's see what happens. Let's try to narrow this down. The riser lights up. It's got 4 status lights on it. And nothing. Okay. So I'm going to try a different RAM in that riser to try to narrow down whether the problem is with the memory riser or the DIMM itself. The DIMM seems properly seated. Don't see any dust or anything in there. I think I'll try a 2 GB module that I suspect is good. Came out of a working computer. So DIMM 1 is at the bottom. This is not compatible RAM. The notch is in a different place. PC2 6400. What? Well, isn't that special? I was just sitting here thinking, it's amazing that Apple have made this so easy to pull apart and that they encourage people to work on them and upgrade them. And then my RAM wouldn't work. Well, I'm going to put this module into the other riser and see what happens as DIMM 2. Now let's see if it boots with 2 gigs of RAM here. Not boots, but turns on. I might put the hard drive back in if this works. Interesting. Might be a problem waiting to happen though. There's our question mark folder. That's a good sign. So I'm gonna turn it off and pop the hard drive in, which I will be cloning onto an SSD as soon as possible. Oh, it's locked. Oh my God, Dave. Okay. Let's see if it boots. Well, this is good. A good sign. I'm not sure what's going on. If the graphics have just failed to initialize, or if I'm on the wrong monitor. I'm plugged into port 1. Yeah, there's no signal. So there's something happening. So I'm not sure how to shut down with the keyboard. I'm afraid I'm going to have to shut down maybe the power button will do it. Okay, well, this is promising. This is a good sign. We're going to try moving the video card, maybe using a different video card if that doesn't work. This graphics card is very hot. I wonder if the fan's working. Oh, it's really hot. So we have a signal, 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second, or 59.94. I need to look up Mac hotkeys. I might have a desktop. Nope. Alright. Different graphics card. Nope. That graphics card is so hot. I feel like there's a problem. Mac boot keys. Command Option PR. we've got a problem with the graphics card. Let's see what I can find. Right, well, it won't boot off of my macOS boot drive, off of my macOS installer boot USB, potentially because it's too new. It was formatted with my 2010 iMac, probably using, I'm not sure what file system that would have used, Mac Extended Journaled. It wouldn't have been APFS. Maybe I can change it. I'll be back. I'm probably going to end up taking this thing completely apart because I want to see if the power supply has any power outputs for a graphics card. So if I do replace this graphics card, most newer graphics cards are going to require external power, and this doesn't have a visible cable. So I want to see if there's one buried in here somewhere. So I might have to take the whole thing apart. So I'll be back. All right, I'm going to take this the rest of the way apart, just because I'm curious, in part because I'm curious. But also because, well, no, I can see now that there are two power connectors on the motherboard that are intended for doing a graphics card upgrade. So let's see if you can see those. So those two 6-pin connectors are for a cable that converts between that and the 8-pin power on a graphics card. Do I want to do this? Kind of do. I'm just going to pull these drive cages out, and then I'm going to take the graphics card out. The cooling fan shroud, I think I need a longer extension. Screw seems to be stuck in there. There we go. And then there's another screw in here. You can't see that. So in here, I don't want it to drop. So then the fan shroud should come up. Is the fan attached to it? How is it just those two screws? Yeah, the fan is in there. I feel like there's another screw somewhere. Yeah, it's like attached to there somehow. So I just pried there. Now, so the fans are still in the enclosure. Oh. Wow, so there's a plug on the bottom. Look how dusty and dirty that is. Well, I was kind of hoping I would find some extra power cables for an external graphics card. So yeah, two CPUs. There's two CPU coolers in there and two CPUs. Wow, this thing is so dirty. I'm gonna pop this RAM out as well. So this RAM shroud, it says to disconnect the rear fan cable, which is here. Can't really do that. I need to unplug everything, and I might have to turn this. Okay, disconnected. And then I'll take out these 4 screws. So those are spring loaded. And then are there 2 more screws? Oh, yeah, they're there. So it's a very small screw for that one. And that one doesn't seem to want to come out. Let me try this. Here's a jeweler's #1 screwdriver, as it recommends, which does feel like a perfect fit. That screw is just not coming out. Well, that's my fault. I'm going to tighten a tiny bit first to try to get this to fit. Just to loosen, but I guess not. Alright, I had to turn the computer onto its side so I could get this screw in front of me, but I was able to work it out with the pliers and didn't cause any damage at all, so that's good. Now what? So the fan inside here has to come sliding into the cage, and now the cage should come out because I've already unplugged the fan. Okay, not bad. I'm going to replace the thermal paste on the CPU, so I'm going to take the CPU heat sinks out also so that I can clean the radiators, because I suspect there's going to be some dust trapped in there. I'm going to turn on the autofocus on this camera, as much as I think the autofocus on this Mac, or on this Brio, is terrible. Is that long enough? So that's a hex bit. Okay, so I basically go in a star pattern, and it's 4 instead of 5. So it starts here, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, also there's a small cable I need to disconnect for each heat sink. I presume there's a thermal sensor in there somewhere. So 2, 3. Now, are these attached? Kind of looks like a discrete unit. There we go. So there's the thermal paste. It's due to be replaced. So, okay, so this is number 1. They look identical. Maybe that's all the more reason to mark them. Can't find the screw. Oh, I can see it in there. And then there's a big thermal sensor on the chipset here, so I'm going to unplug that and take that off as well. I should have gone next and then across, or across and then side. That's fine. I'll do that when I'm putting it back together. That's wetter. Interesting. So there it is. 2 CPUs, big old chipset. This is from 2008. So 2 16x slots and 2 4x slots. Yeah, so there are the power headers. Alright, so I need to take this back for a clean. I'll be back. Actually, I'm going to clean that thermal paste off before I go any further. Nice and dry. This one's a little wetter. Really caked on in one spot. Baked on. Alright. Nice and clean. Wow, that really cleaned up well. Okay, I'm going to bring things into the back and blow them out, and I'll be back. Okay, so much better. I kind of want to get the power supply out to clean that. Okay, apparently there are 4 hex head screws. This one here that's right between these brackets. So that one, and then down here and down here. So let's just see if we can get those loose. Yep, no problem. I'm not sure what we're going to find with regard to the wires, the electrical connectors. I'm hoping they're just modular plugs. I need to be careful not to knock any capacitors off the board with my knuckles here. Kind of felt the power supply drop there a little bit. I think this has to come out. I'm taking it out. There we go. Now I can see cables. Look. Wow, they're all lying flat there. Oh, that's beautiful. So, is this... Well, that's part of the case. That's not moving. Alright. Oh, like that. Just shimmy it over, I guess. Now, cables. So all those cables are connected. Well, this is going to be tricky to get back in, isn't it? Maybe I can disconnect these cables here. Yep. All right. There's the power cables disconnected. Talk about a tight fit. Okay. Actually, not too bad. I'm going to go blow this out now. Okay, I've cleaned it all out. I've blown everything out. I'm putting the power supply back in. I'm just going to put this back together because really what it needs is a graphics card. If we can get a graphics card to work... Okay. Alright, now I need to connect all of these cables. Well, that one pretty much plugged in on its own just about. Oh, I see there's Velcro on the back of that side. That's such a nice design. Okay, how can we get at that? You know what? I'm gonna lift them up and plug them in like a normal person. So then those get velcroed down. These can come up, snap in place. Okay, there we go. This plate can go back in to cover all that up. So, I can't remember the sequence. So that was going to go back there. So the CPU, coolers. Alright, I'm going to apply thermal paste to these 3 chips. And you couldn't see any of that. So it's not very thick, but I tend to spread it out because I don't like to leave it to chance. I know some people prefer to just put a big dot in the middle or whatever, but I'm not one of those people. So now this one goes here, and that is hex. Okay, I'll plug that in while I can. Okay, please don't steal my bit. good. Okay. Which side do I do first? I don't know. Does it matter? So this has the RAM. No, not fan. I think maybe I'm backwards on this. Oh yeah, this had that. So it had those screws, and then it had a set of screws, 2 screws in a weird place here that go down here. So yeah, that's gonna go like that. Just need to get that plugged in. Cannot see. Okay. Alright, sorry, I lost part of that recording because my disk filled up. Okay. So I got these 2 screws that need to go in down here. And hold on with the tweezers. That pretty awkward angle there. Oh no. Exactly what I wanted to avoid. Okay, I got the screw out, and I'm going to tip this up the way they recommend, so that if I drop the screw, it doesn't fall into the computer. So with the jeweler's screwdriver, it is awkward. I might hold this down like that into the hole. There we go. And it's very, very tight in there. Okay, and then that fan kind of just rests in there, right? Okay. Now, what's next? Oh, they're fans. So they just plug into the board. There's a socket there. This just slides down, and there are going to be 2 screws. Oh, I see. It slides in here. Wow. That's magical. I don't remember which screw is longer though. Okay, so it's the longer of the 2 screws that goes up here, and then the shorter one, actually it's the black motherboard looking one goes down here. Okay. So I mean, so that goes. It goes like that. So I need to get these cables up here to plug in to there. Might as well just use the last one in the chain. Backwards? It is backwards. So therefore I'm going to do like this instead. There we go. That's the one I was using. I feel like it might be... Oh, we're locked. That's why. Okay. Oh yeah, I missed that screw. I've got one little screw left over, and it's for the bottom of there. I'm gonna pop these hard drive caddies in. So drive number 1 was over there. 4, 3. These have little numbers on them in the corner. 2, and we'll put the hard drive back in. This is mostly all for safekeeping, so all the parts are in the right place. Now, that locks, perfect. Put the RAM back in, and if I remember right, it was this side that was working. Yep, there we go. And then we can put this side back in as well. I just need to close these. Graphics card can go back in. And the CPU cooler shroud. I'm not sure exactly how that goes. Oh, there's little magnets there. Oh, look at that. Okay. Wow. So it's magnets. Wow. Okay, here we go. Try this again. Wow. Crazy. Okay. Oh, this thing gets so much heavier when it's put together. Wow. Let's see. So I want to go around like this. It's so heavy. I will lay it down. And we're not going to have any improvement since the last time. I just want to be sure that we can hear the chime. I might leave it plugged into the network in case it's able to update. Damn, no chime. I think it's still the RAM. It's this board is the problem. That board and the graphics card. So, more to come. Okay, we're back. I've got a video card, a replacement for the ATI HD 2600 XT. This is slightly different than the one that was in there. It's slightly longer. So there's the new card. There's the one that was in here. Here's the end of it. So it's a smaller card. I actually, to be honest, I tried swapping these cards earlier and it didn't really work. So I'm wondering if my problem is more related to my video capture than anything else. So I might turn it on now and see. So with the old video card in there and the memory sorted, I'm going to faff around with different configurations on video input now and see. So I'll plug it into output 1, give it some power. I've got keyboard and mouse plugged in already. I'm going to plug that into the front where it's closer. And let's see what happens. Switch this over to capture. Okay, well, we've got... It's booting. I cloned the hard drive onto an SSD earlier so that I could upgrade macOS to a newer version with little risk. And so this computer is fixed, basically. It didn't need a video card after all. It's working fine without the video card, now that I think about it. So we've got this I've got this replacement video card that I will resell on eBay, probably. So let's just look at about this Mac. Now this is a Mac Pro. It's the 3,1 model, which is the early 2008 8-core. It's got two 4-core Xeon processors in it. So it's 8 cores, it's got 2 gigabytes of RAM, and it had a 320 gig hard drive. Now it's got a 500 gig Crucial SSD. And it runs great. I'm just going to keep making sure I'm going to make sure it's up to date and make sure it's ready to go back to the customer, but that's pretty much it. It runs without even replacing the video card. So I feel kind of foolish for buying this now. I could not get a video signal out of this until I swapped the video cards around. When I put this card in earlier, it booted up. So I wanted to get back on video and do that for you and show you what the process was like. But my testing here now, I think I don't know what happened. I do know what happened actually. The original hard drive had macOS 10.5 on it, and that didn't recognize the video card. It wasn't able to boot. So when I put this second video card in, it booted off of this. It booted and displayed a video signal out of the new video card, and then the old video card worked after I upgraded macOS. So now that we're on macOS 10.7, so we're on macOS 10.7.2, which is as new as we can go without wrecking his Logic Pro that he paid for. Logic Pro 8, which is not compatible with newer versions of macOS 10.10 and newer. It just didn't work properly. So we're staying on 10.7 so that it can continue to use his audio editing software and call it a day. So thanks for watching.